Okay, Christina here to listen to some music, and today's music selection is Baba O'Riley by The Who. We've already had a little bit of The Who featured on the channel so far, including Won't Get Fooled Again. It was a great song. And so this one actually is a direct request, but also came in second on the poll. There was sort of a little bit of an overlap there with a direct request and the poll. And so let's dig into this one, Baba O'Riley. And why exactly are we digging into this music? I am a professional, classically trained musician, instrumentalist, vocalist, composer, and professor. So we dig into all of this music looking at how it was composed, the instruments that were used, maybe some form analysis or music theory, sometimes some instrument demos, and of course, to find out why we connect to this music. Why do we like it so much? Or maybe why do we not like it? So I know nothing about this song except that it came out in 1971, the same as when Won't Get Fooled Again came out, and that's about it. Don't know what the title means, nothing. So I'm going to learn something here too. Okay, so no more delay. Let's listen. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right, well, first of all, that was a really cool intro. I think it was exactly what I was kind of hoping for. So Won't Get Fooled Again had a combination of more electronic music and hard rock anthem, almost a southern rock kind of feel. And I know these guys are British, but that's okay. You know, we can play what kind of music we want. But I was hoping for those two worlds, combining here, and I think we have it. It's sort of like I said, electronic. I just am picturing like computer graphics and numbers and data, and it's very structured, but at the same time, it's right on the edge of becoming improv almost. Like when the drum beat came in and the piano, the octaves in the lower piano, it almost didn't line up with the electronic line, but that was kind of cool. I really liked that. Where is this going? Surely it's not going to just be this. If it was, I would be okay with it. It reminds me of a genre of classical music called minimalism. And it's sort of very repetitive, and it can really be repetitive. It can really go on and really push the limits and the boundaries of what the human brain can sort of hang on to, both listening and performing it. But it's a lot of fun. So, all right, let's see how this is going to keep changing. I'm sure there's going to be another section. We'll back it up a little bit. Just see how it's like barely hanging on, like to the tempo, to the beat, Okay, here we go. Okay, we're into a new section here. And with that, it did sort of start to slow down a little bit. They need to give us some breathing room, I think. That whole first section, like everything we've heard up until now, is full of anxiety, some kind of woe. And based on the lyrics, it's perhaps a lifetime of woes. So, I mean, it's talking about making a living and breaking your back doing so, and maybe being underappreciated somehow. So yeah, wow, this is right along the lines of Won't Get Fooled Again. An anthem standing up for someone or a group of someones, and then the two voices, the electronic voice and the acoustic band, like hardcore band, just like banging on those drums. And that anthemy voice that he has where he's just like shouting. It's almost, I hope his voice was okay with singing this song. It wears my voice out just listening to him a little bit. But the message comes across, the tone comes across, so it's kind of worth it, I think. All right. So it was going on a little bit. Then we finally got a breath. Let's back it up and hear that transition and see where it takes us.
Don't cry, don't raise your eye. It's only teenage wasteland. Sally, take my hand. We'll travel south across land. Put out the fire and don't look past my shoulder. The exodus is here. The happy ones are near. Let's get together before we get much older. Teenage wasteland. It's only teenage wasteland. Teenage wasteland, oh yeah. Teenage wasteland. They're all wasted.
All right. Okay, Teenage Wasteland. I'm catching on to that. That could mean a couple of things. So this is sort of another anthem, but again, it has the woe to it, you know. Should I read it as woe is me? Like that sort of teen angst kind of thing? Or is it more that a generation is being wasted or they are wasting themselves away somehow? Okay. I love this combination though. The electronica and the hard rock. I love this mashup. It's their hook for this band, like absolutely. But it's so good. And even with these two songs that I'm comparing here, you could accuse them of maybe overdoing it, but no. It's so cool. These two flavors that are coming together. It's very delicious. Okay. Where are we going? We're headed for the end here. Things are sort of deconstructing themselves. It got really angsty there for a little bit talking about the teenage wasteland, super angsty. And now there are more layers to it, but the beats are kind of slowing down and being a little bit more sparse. And so it's like, are we going to bring, the drums back in? Are we going to have more of the shouting of, with the vocals? I'm not sure. I'm not sure where I want this to go yet. And I'm also going to be really honest, and I still don't know what the title means. I'm so sorry if there is something in history that I am not aware of, or I don't know, I'm forgetting. I apologize, but you know what? Like I said, we're here to learn. I'm here to learn too. We'll get there. All right, let's finish the song, back it up a little bit and hear what the heck is happening here, this little deconstruction. Okay, that was so cool. That was so unexpected. I wasn't expecting that. There was a violin. It was like a fiddle. It was muted. It was almost electronic sounding. So, an electric violin. It might not have been. I don't know if they had that readily available in 1971. Maybe just a fiddle that has been amplified through, a pickup. Okay. All right. Well, I mentioned in Won't Get Fooled Again that I thought there was a hint of Southern rock and then also a little hint of Beethoven. And I'm going to stick by that because Beethoven sometimes had trouble ending his pieces. So we get lots of bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 like lots of final chords. And every once in a while, there are a couple of his hit symphonies that were like, okay, it's time to end it now. Oh, okay. Oh, a couple more measures. Okay. No, it's all good. That's his style. He can do what he wants. All right. But there's something happening here that's similar to that mentality. And doesn't matter how a musician gets there, it's the personal choice. But I'm just picking up on that little tendency. And then mixed with this Southern rock aspect because I'm hearing the fiddle. So the fiddle could also be ethnic in lots of different ways or lots of different nationalities that embrace the violin. I did hear just a little bit of like fiddle harmonies in there, but then I heard a lot of klezmer almost. So, stuff that you'd hear from the fiddler up on the roof and Fiddler on the Roof. And so maybe that's the tie-in to the title. Okay. Maybe we're getting there. I don't know. I may just have to break down and look this one up. Okay. I'll think about it. The rest of you like, we already know it's this. Okay. Well, okay. This one, yeah, I don't know if I'm getting close at all here, but that was so much fun. And then how the drums did come back in, but it was like, and then there was the accelerando all the way to the end. It was so great. And it just ended like, okay, I sort of lost track of the anthem part of this, of the teenage angst. Is it still there? No. Okay. I feel like the level of creativity with this is so unpredictable that it's actually hard to sort of wrap my brain around it. And yet at the same time, it is so cool that that is all I want to do is wrap my brain around it and just try to figure out what is the symbolism here? What is this meaning? Am I looking too far into it? I don't know. Is it creating some sort of angst within me? Yeah, but that's the fun of it. So, all right. All right, I'm just going to look it up right now. I got to look it up. What the heck does it mean? Okay, so it's a rock opera that the guitarist wrote? Okay, and it actually is listing something in here about a minimalist composer, Terry Riley. Okay, I get it. Okay. Yeah, Baba, okay, the Indian spiritual master and an American minimalist composer, Terry Riley. I don't know if I know the music of Terry Riley. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm just going to go down this little Baba O'Reilly rabbit hole here. Jazz and Indian classical music with tape delay. Okay, I don't know. Okay, sorry. I'm gonna have to get to know Terry Riley. So if any of you want to add anything that could help me get to know this musician and composer a little bit better, let me know. Okay, so I caught on to that. The minimalism. So, and all that means is it was a 20th century compositional phase in classical music where it doesn't have to be electronic per se. In fact, usually it's performed by orchestral instruments, and it's just very repetitive. It just basically kind of sounds like that. It can be fast or slow, but there's still like a steady perpetual motion to it. It's almost as if there's a tape loop that's built in, but it's being performed by live instruments. So to me, I love that kind of a challenge, both to write music like that and to perform it. So I really love minimalist music. But now at least I see the point of the fiddle solo at the end. Okay, so I definitely caught on. So, well, I think that if this is with a rock opera, I am catching a lot of different characters that are worked in here, but they all make sense. This is the part that my brain's trying to wrap around. Okay, so with these characters, let's sort of see where one started to transfer into the next. I think it was around here. From the electronic sound into the rock band sound.
Don't cry, don't raise your eye. It's only
Yeah, so we're kind of easing into it. So we had the drums and the guitars with the piano line, all that, and the electronic stuff in the background. But now with the vocals coming in, it seems like to me the electronic stuff is sort of matte. It's sort of flat in sound. And so when the band comes in, it's more echoey, like it's in a big stadium. And to me, that really makes actually the two concepts sort of further apart. And then the fact that they're still here and, sort of in our faces here is kind of a challenge to listen to, but it's really fun. Okay, but the teenage wasteland. Is it sort of like innocence? Having to learn lessons the hard way? I'm not sure. Being tempted into kind of getting into trouble. I don't know. And so then the minimalism, maybe that doesn't have anything to do with it, but maybe that just creates the angst. I'm not sure. But I do like some of the chord directions. So there was one cool spot. I was like, yeah, I like this. I know it'd be one spot that I would look forward to every time I listen to this song in the future. I think it's right around here. It sort of changes. It goes back and forth between major and minor. There's a little bit of usage of modes in there. That's just different ways of treating a scale. Let's see, I think it was around here.
Teenage wasteland, oh yeah. Teenage wasteland. They're all wasted.
The Beethoven chords there. But then we're being carried into something new. There. Yeah. But that's the little chord thing I was talking about. There. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we've got the guitar solo and then the violin solo. It's a violin. It's a violin, y'all. It is. It is. At first I was like, no, but no, it totally is. So it's not a classical style of violin. The vibrato is very, very tight and shimmery. And there's a lot of, it's an improv session. It's beautiful. And to me, it sounds like the violin is muted. And so I'll demonstrate what that means. The sound is kind of almost like it's covered up like this. But that could just be the amplification process is sort of making it sound that way. It's a gorgeous melody. And I can hear the influences from the composer here and his two favorite composers. This is really great. Okay, before we dive into the fiddle stuff at the end, because I want to do that. Let's go back to the beginning. I like to see where we start sometimes. Just remind ourselves. And then I'll skip to the end and see how we ended up at the end of this journey. So much fun. It almost sounds like it's trying to be like a Bach fugue. And I'm hearing the ideas being interjected, like brought in carefully. Little motifs, like different themes layered in. Yeah. And it is sort of in a 4/4 pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. So in repeats of 4. Yeah. Lots of crashes. Oh yeah, so the sound of the band comes crashing in, doesn't it? Yeah, and there is no silence. It's just, with the electronic part, and so then the drums have to enter in that way as well. The piano line, and maybe guitar and, bass in there too. There still isn't a whole lot of space in between each of those notes. I know the notes decay, but it's still sustained, and that is part of sort of the minimalistic genre, is that it's sometimes just a wall of sound. It can be a short wall, or a tall wall, but there's just constant motion happening there. So this is being represented very well. And then again, that transition into the band it's just very well done. Okay, let's go to the end and have some fun also with this fiddle part. I like how the guitar has it. It's almost like the band is almost not lining up with the electronic stuff, but it does. Okay. So many little sounds, but then we have this. Can you hear? Bum, 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 bum. More of that angst, but it's just more energy, creative energy. I don't know. Love it, love it, love it. And there's a repeat there of that little theme. So the fiddle is completely imitating the thematic usage of the electronic line. Yes. Da 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 dum bum bum. Yep. bit of chords used there. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, the two notes together remind me of fiddle music. And we have the tremolo all the way to the end. Love it. And just the echo. Oh, if it had not echoed at the end, that would have been, I think, maybe too abrupt, too jarring. But the echo, the reverb, not echo, it's more reverb, of the band, the rock band. But then the electronic part, even though it was kind of done by more acoustic instruments there at the end, joining in with the electronic sound, but it's all part of the minimalistic part here. It ended up with a reverb at the end. Well, that was a cool little handoff there. Okay, well, I got to try this, right? I'm going to grab my fiddle. Okay, so I have the mute on, the violin right here. Put it right there. That's what it sounds like with the mute and without. So I don't necessarily know that that's what's happening here. It could, again, just be like the amplification. But we're going to use the mute because it kind of sounds similar. So I'm just going to try to play along a little bit. There it is. Tremolo. Love it. That was fun. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I could just totally jam with that. Just. So great. Okay. That was Baba O'Reilly by The Who. And that was quite a treat. That was so much fun. It was fun to listen to. It was fun to dig in and see where their ideas came from. I did have to look a couple of things up. That was like so kind of out there and so creative that I didn't have much to really hang on to. And so if I missed anything else, please let me know. Put it in the comments because, again, I want to learn as much as I can about this. Wow. The fiddle solo was way too much fun. And I can't say enough good stuff about this song. This was really great. And a little bit of an anthem. But again, what was it? The Teenage Wasteland. Oh, and will this go on my playlist? Yes, immediately. This is going to go on lots of different playlists, I think. Like actual playlists. So I am very grateful that I got to experience this song. Thank you for coming along with me. And of course, as always, just remember that you don't have to be perfect. Just be okay. And keep listening.